Normally I'd start the video with hello, Kitto here. But I feel like it's getting repetitive, so my gender journey. BTW. This is from one of my community posts I decided to turn into a video. I knew what a gender was, but only looked into it recently. I saw someone who identified as a gender, decided to look into it, and realized I somewhat related to it. So I identified as a gender and changed my pronouns to all pronouns. I think I was just confusing apathy towards my gender with a lack of gender, but either way, it was the reason I started to question my gender. I also have always been okay with all pronouns. I just assumed since I was a cis gal I couldn't go by he. Anyways, a couple hours go by and I don't feel a gender anymore. I think it was because I realized it wasn't quite right, but I didn't know that before. Then, through a comment someone made about their identity, I discovered the term girl flux. I felt like it was the only thing that described my experience as well as other things I experienced. So I identified as it. Honestly, part of me wonders if I am still partially girl flux, but I probably won't know for a while. It didn't feel quite right either, so I flip-flopped a lot between identifying as girl flux or cis. Now, the more recent stuff and how I figured out my main gender identity. Something fun I like to do is turn on newest comments and get triggered at rage bait. Very productive. I know. While doing this, I discovered someone who identified as something I never heard before. Gender apathetic. Apagender. Out of curiosity, looked up the term and realized that it described me almost perfectly. For anyone who actually cares, here's all my gender identities, labels both important and small ones. I also go by she, Rennie, all pronouns. Not because I prefer she, but I am just more used to it. I also don't have a preference. Anyways, now for some things I thought were normal that are probably part of me being apagender. 1. I used to think everyone was okay being called they them, and I was very shocked when I found out that I was wrong. 2. I would always call myself both mas, femme, and gender-neutral terms, for example, king, queen, etc. I know that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I am apagender, so it makes sense to me. 3. Not being able to connect as much with specific gender terms except for gal for some reason. For not being able to connect with labels in general, even ones that don't apply to gender. I guess it could have to do with something else, but I'm just gonna end the vid here since I can't think of anything else to say. If I do, I will just put it in the desk.